Today we are going to go through 5 weird events in politics that I feel like Gen Z should know about. Now these aren't going to be particularly important events, but they are going to be funny events and weird things that happened that I feel like Gen Z would have thought were funny if they happened today. We start in 2013 with the debates over the Affordable Care Act and budgeting that were happening in the United States Congress. Republicans did not like the plan and decided to implement a filibuster. To wildly oversimplify what the filibuster is, basically in the United States Senate, a senator can start talking and never stop talking, and then the Senate can't pass a bill. During this filibuster, a young senator at the time named Ted Cruz decided he would read Dr. Seuss's Green Eggs and Ham into the Senate record.
I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham.
Now we go back in time to 2004, when the Democrats were deciding who they wanted to run against George W. Bush in the 2004 presidential election. During the 2004 Democratic primaries, John Kerry was definitely viewed as the frontrunner in the race, and Howard Dean, who was the governor of Vermont at the time, was viewed as a relatively unknown, kind of quirky guy. Over time, Howard Dean gained in the polls, becoming among the largest candidates in the Democratic primaries. He kind of carved out a lane for himself, being the online candidate who was supported by young people and took some more progressive positions. In the first contest, the Iowa caucus, Howard Dean got 3rd place among the Democratic candidates, and afterwards gave a speech where he made a, I'll say, unique sound.
We're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. And we're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Yeah!
This noise, which we now call the Dean Scream, became a meme, and this speech was later called the I Have a Scream speech. Due to the scream, as well as a lot of other issues, Howard Dean soon went down in the polls and eventually would drop out of the Democratic primaries. Now we go across the pond to visit our friends in the United Kingdom. Just 1 year after the chaotic Brexit referendum happened in the United Kingdom, they were holding their 2017 general election. In the United Kingdom, it's fairly easy to get onto the ballot, at least that's my understanding. So a guy named Lord Buckethead, here's a picture of him, decided to run against Prime Minister Theresa May. A photograph of the two of them at an event went fairly viral. Here's the photograph. People found it funny that a world leader of one of the most powerful nations in the world had to go to events with meme candidates like this. Overall, this event just showed how much of a joke UK politics can be. Continuing internationally, we now take a trip to the land down under, to Australia. In August of 2018, Australia was choosing a new prime minister. I don't have a total grasp on the Australian political system, but it seems like this was a kind of chaotic time in Australia. During this selection process, an Australian musician by the name of Joyride tweeted that a leading candidate, Scott Morrison, pooped his pants at McDonald's. The way the story goes is that on September 20th of 1997, the Cronulla Sharks, an Australian rugby team, lost their league's championship. Scott Morrison, a big fan of the Cronulla Sharks, was so sad that he went to his local McDonald's and pooped his pants. While this meme was hilarious, unfortunately it's probably not true. Morrison has denied it, and there really wasn't any evidence for it from the start. However, this has become a long-running meme about Australian politics. And the last incident we're going to take a look at involves the George W. Bush presidency, which was full of crazy moments. One in particular was on December 14th in 2008 at a press conference in Iraq. An Iraqi journalist threw both of his shoes at President Bush. Bush's quick reaction time and dodge of both shoes went viral, well, at least viral by 2008 standards. This whole event led to one of the most comical Wikipedia pages I've ever seen for the incident, with attack type labeled as shoe throwing and the weapon as pair of shoes. Thankfully, there were no deaths.
If you want the facts, it's a size 10 shoe that he threw.
There are certainly other crazy events that have happened in politics over the years, but these are 5 funny, relatively recent political events I felt Gen Z would like to know about. Comment below crazy political things you remember that you think Gen Z should know about.